Bar girl, let's go.
Did I ever tell you that your ass is a wonderland?
Hey, don't you know what to touch me?
You would apologize to the lady.
I'm sorry.
The story opens with John Brickner, recently released from prison after serving 4 years for a past murder, reduced from a 7-year sentence. After getting out, John is set on making things right and starting over. John Brickner. Looking for a clean slate, he moves to Seattle and takes a construction job. One night, on his way to a bar, he sees 3 men hassling a waitress named Frankie. John steps in, grabs one of the guys, and forces him to apologize to Frankie. Apologize to the lady, I'm sorry. Intimidated by John's strength, the men take off. Seeing what happened, the bar owner offers John a job as a bouncer. John accepts, working construction during the day and doing bar security at night. The next day, John starts his new security job. When 2 drunk customers cause trouble, he steps in and throws them out. Watching from a distance, Frankie's boyfriend, Reno Paul Saint, is impressed. Impressed by John's skills, Reno suggests a different opportunity. Hey, Saul called me. He said I could make some money. Real money. John politely turns him down, already balancing 2 jobs. One day after work, John is approached by Veronica, the widow of the man he killed. John Brickner. She's the one who pushed for his early release, but it came with a cost. She demands he raise $250,000 to pay for her daughter's life-saving heart surgery. Yeah, John, got your letters. My husband would still be alive. And if it wasn't for me, you'd still be behind bars. Thank you. I didn't do it out of kindness. I had another selfish reason. My daughter, Sarah, is 8 years old, and she probably won't live to 9 because she needs a heart transplant. I'm truly sorry. I don't want your pity, John. You're going to save my baby's life. How? It costs $250,000, and that's money I don't have. Wanting to atone, John decides to help Veronica. But when he checks his savings, he realizes he's nowhere near the amount. Desperate, he turns to Frankie. Hey, can I ask you something? That guy who offered me the job the other night, you know him? Yeah, Reno. You know where I can find him? Cool. And this? Looking for me? Yeah. Were you serious about that job? Come on, I'll show you. Reno takes John to a hidden, packed building. Inside is a roaring underground fight arena. He's a friend of mine. The fighter's name is Timmons. He's the holy grail of underground fighting. His manager is a guy named Sharp. What, you serious, that guy? Not interested? Hey. And all I gotta do is drop that guy down there. You know how much money you can make beating that guy down there? 6 figures, 1 fight. Tempted by the payout, John, still on parole, refuses, even with Reno pressuring him. The next day, he goes to Veronica's house to apologize for not being able to help. Hearing John's apology, Veronica reminds him of what he promised in prison, that he'd do anything to make up for what he did. Her raised voice draws out her sickly daughter, Sarah, who weakly steps from her room. Seeing how fragile Sarah is fills John with guilt and heartbreak. Overwhelmed, he promises he'll do whatever it takes to raise the money for her treatment. The next morning at the job site, John is unexpectedly fired over a small mistake. But soon after, his boss collapses from a heart attack right in front of him. Reacting fast, John performs first aid and saves his life. That night, curious and torn, John returns to the arena. He finds Reno and Frankie watching a brutal fight that ends with Reno's fighter badly injured and rushed away for emergency care. After the doctor rules Reno's fighter unfit for the next round, "Hey, Reno, we gonna fight or what?" "Okay, don't worry about it. You got 5 minutes. All right, you ready?" "Good as new. Stand up. Ready? You got time for me now?" John steps up and volunteers to take his place. Just before the match begins, Mr. Wolf shows up demanding repayment from Reno. Reno promises the debt will be paid after the fight. Once the bell rings, John and his opponent trade heavy shots, firing up the crowd as a hard first round ends. In the next round, weapons are allowed, and John's opponent grabs a steel rod and swings immediately. Even while taking hits, John holds his ground and finally overpowers the guy with just his bare hands, earning a shocking win. Back in the locker room, Reno hands him the prize money, but John shares part of it with the injured fighter he replaced. A few days later, after his morning run, John is surprised to see Reno and Frankie waiting for him. Reno pushes John to take another fight, reminding him there's still money on the table. After thinking it over, John agrees. To make training and fights easier, Reno even invites him to move in. Before the next match, they meet Deacon, the referee, at a restaurant to go over the conditions. During the talk, Reno admits he's broke and can't afford to place a big bet. Another issue is John's unresolved parole status, but after a tense exchange, Jacky upon rover and John convinces Deacon to let him fight. Needing cash, Reno pawns a prized heirloom ring from his father, a legendary fighter, as collateral. Later, Reno brings John to meet a man named Nestor, but things go dark when Nestor, furious over unpaid debts, orders his men to kill Reno. John jumps in, stopping them before they can move. He offers a deal. If John wins a fight, Nestor lets Reno walk. If John loses, he takes on Reno's debt himself. Nestor agrees, and the 10-minute, $10,000 match starts. John dominates, landing brutal blows until his opponent can't continue. The other fighter is knocked out fast, sealing John's win. John and Reno leave immediately. On the way home, John gets a call from Veronica. Sarah has collapsed and been rushed to the hospital. At Sarah's bedside, John grows tense seeing the frail girl and swears he'll do whatever it takes to get her the surgery she needs. Later, after leaving the room, he accidentally overhears Reno and Frankie arguing in the living room. Frankie confronts Reno, accusing him of using John to pay off debts, but Reno denies it, saying John's just an ex-con and not as noble as Frankie thinks. He even suggests Frankie has feelings for John. Their argument is cut short when John walks in unexpectedly. That night, as John gets ready for another fight, Reno apologizes for what he said. Even after winning fight after fight, John still hasn't earned enough to qualify for a shot at the reigning champ. As John's name grows, fear spreads among other fighters, leading to multiple canceled matches. Reno, unfazed, tells John he'll find someone willing to face him. One night at the bar, John notices two men watching him from a car. They're bodyguards for Veltz, a mob boss Reno owes money to. While Reno is off gambling, Veltz's men confront him, and Reno begs for more time. They give Reno 1 week to pay, or Frankie will pay the price. That night, John faces a tough Mexican fighter in a brutal match. "Hey, John, son of a bitch, you've had all your shots." But John wins again with an impressive performance. Afterward, he, Reno, and Frankie go to a bar to celebrate. Over drinks, John asks why Reno hasn't planned the fights more carefully. Reno explains that as John's fame rises, so do the betting stakes, so they have to keep fighting to cover the growing costs. Soon after, John gets a call from Veronica and rushes to her house with Frankie. There, he finds Veronica unconscious, beside a letter saying Sarah's organ donation was canceled, pushing her into despair. Without hesitation, John takes Veronica to the hospital. While waiting, he opens up to Frankie about why he entered the underground fights. All John ever wanted was to save the daughter of the man he accidentally killed. When he hears Veronica is awake, he rushes to her and explains he's fighting to raise money for Sarah's surgery. Meanwhile, Reno goes to get his father's ring back from the pawn shop, only to learn it's already been sold for more. Furious and helpless, he realizes it's gone. One night, John faces Nestor's men again. Afterward, Reno and Nestor set up a match with $150,000 on each side. John asks that Nestor's fighter surrender, but Nestor refuses, insisting it has to continue. Worried he might kill his opponent by accident, John chooses to quit, giving Nestor the win. Meanwhile, Veltz's men find Reno and beat him brutally for falling behind. The next day, Veltz's men tail John again and force him into their car, taking him to a lavish house. There, John meets Veltz, who reveals he's the father-in-law of John's boss at the construction site. Thankful John saved his son-in-law during the heart attack, Veltz offers to grant John any request. John makes two demands, starting with $150,000 for Sarah's heart surgery. John's second demand is that Veltz pay off all of Reno's debts, but Veltz agrees to fulfill only one request, leaving the choice to John. John chooses to clear Reno's debts. After the meeting, John decides to leave Reno and Frankie behind and move out of Reno's place. Reno, grateful, thanks John for lifting the burden of his debts. Soon after, Reno gets a call about a bet being placed for John to fight the reigning champion, Sharp. That night, John enters the arena to face the deadly opponent. As the fight begins, John raises his hand and the crowd erupts, music blasting through the room. Meanwhile, Veronica races through the hospital, discovering Sarah's surgery bill has been paid. John soon arrives to support her, and Veronica, overwhelmed with gratitude, thanks him. Later, Reno and Frankie join them, and John returns the rings he bought from the pawn shop. Reno thanks John from the heart for everything he did to get them through it.